Hi, today I'm going to harvest some red hot peppers off my super chili plant, and you can see it's just loaded with them. So I'm going to pick all the red ones, and then I'm going to take them and put them on the dehydrator and dry them. There are just all kinds of them. They're all on the inside here and everywhere. Okay, here's what I got. I hope you can see that. Now, this is a 1.5 quart bowls, and it's maybe 2/3 of the way full, if that gives you any idea. Now I'm going to take them upstairs and get them ready for the dehydrator. Okay, here's the peppers again, in case you didn't see them very well downstairs. Got my trays for the dehydrator. I don't quite know how many I'll need, so I've got 3 ready to go. And really all I do, of course I'm wearing gloves because these babies are really hot and they'll pack a punch if you get that on your fingers and rub your eye or scratch your mouth or something like that. It's not pleasant. All I do, I don't spend a lot of time, I just take and I slice them like that. Actually that one I didn't really want to cut quite so far, but just cut them through just to open them up so that the moisture inside can dehydrate out of there. I leave the seeds and the stems on, and like I said, I will be dehydrating them, and after that some of them I will grind up into a powder, but most of them I will be leaving whole and just use them like that as you need them. I didn't count them, but there's an awful lot in here, so I'm going to be at this for a while, and I'm not going to bother leaving the camera go all that time. I'll be back shortly. Okay, I've got one tray pretty full. I probably could have squeezed more in on this tray, but heck, I've got 8 trays, and I don't think I'm going to be using all 8 of them, so I'll spread them out. That way they'll get a little better air circulation. I checked my records from last time I dried these, and last time it took 10 hours. But that time I did not cut them like I'm doing now. I just poked them, not with this knife, but with a pointier knife, just poked holes in them. So I'm thinking by cutting them like this is going to increase or decrease the drying time. We will find out, but regardless, it can go as long as it needs to. And if I had grown these outside, I would have washed them off before doing this. But being that I grew them inside in hydroponics, I mean, they're perfectly clean. That's the nice thing about the hydroponics. Even when we harvest lettuce or herbs or something out of it, we don't wash it. You just right to the table, and it's just pristine clean. You know what's gone into the growing of them, and you know you didn't use any pesticides. There's no bugs, so it's really a neat way to grow things. And another nice thing about drying them whole like this with the seeds in there is, of course, the heat is quite mainly in the seeds, so you want to retain that heat. But also, if I want to plant some seeds, I just go in my jar of dried peppers and pick a few seeds out. So it's kind of a neat way to do it. We've also frozen them, and they work good for that. They freeze nicely, but I like to dry them a little better because they do shrink down, and this whole jar, when I'm done, it may be going to only fill maybe 1.5 jars, pint jars, is what I'm going to be putting them in. I think. We'll find that out. Okay, I'll finish trimming the rest of these and see you when that's done. Okay, I ended up with 3 full trays plus one that's maybe not even quite half full, just maybe a third full. And another little trick I learned, on the bottom I always keep an empty tray with one of these leather trays at the bottom, and that, if anything drips off of here or little pieces fall off, it catches it on there and just makes cleaning up a heck of a lot easier. Now I'm going to set the temp for 135 degrees. Put this cover on and let her rip. Just let her go. I'll check it every few hours and see how it's doing, and I'll be back when it's done. That might not be till tomorrow. Just a quick peek what's going on in the outside garden. In these little screen things under there is where I planted my garlic for next year. And the reason I put the little screens on was that last year something got in there and dug up a few of my cloves. So this year I'm trying to protect it from whatever it was that did that. I'm not quite sure what it was. And under here I have going some cauliflower that I'm trying to keep alive, and it's doing pretty well. It's not growing very fast because it's been so cold. We've had a few days of freezing. Last night it was down to 31, but they're still looking good. I've got 2 good ones. That's all I had were of these little, I call them mini greenhouses. They're just wire screens with some plastic on it. And that one I didn't have a screen for, and of course the cold weather got to it. So hopefully, I don't know if I'll get cauliflower, but just a challenge to see how long I can keep it going. And that's it. Everything else is pretty much gone. I'm also smoking some salmon today in my smoker. I've got myself scored some wild Alaskan fresh caught king salmon, which in my view is the best there is. And I have it going in the smoker with some alder wood, so that is some good eating. Okay, they're all dry, they're all done. Took just about 8 hours, just a hair under 8 hours. But they're all dry and nice and crispy. So the next thing I do is take them out of the dryer, and that's where these little screens come in mighty handy. I just dump them out. This is a piece of parchment paper, but sometimes I use paper towel. And then I can just slide them right on into the jar and do each tray like that. It's almost full. Shake it out a little bit. And I'll need to get another jar. I ended up with not quite 2 pint jars of dried peppers. And as you can see, I always put a label with the date on my jars, so I know what's in there 6 months from now, then don't forget. Now the next step I do here is to vacuum seal them, and they'll be ready to go. And that's just a matter of putting the tops on and putting the sealer on, attaching the hose, and giving it a blast. There's that one. And this one. There we go. those are ready for use. They'll last like that pretty much indefinitely. So I'm pretty pleased with the results. Prior to this, I think I have a half-pint jar, about half full. We do use them, and as you can see, the seeds are in there, and they're all nice and dry and ready to be planted at any time. So they'll keep fresh in there in that vacuum seal for quite a while too. Okay, that's it. I thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.